Mic check 1 2. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and welcome. You are on the mountain with Rick and Ben, and it is time for World Building Wednesdays. Sorry for the volume earlier. Okay. Now, why is my Brave not showing up? Window capture. There we go.
All good?
Yes.
All right. So what do you think of the first ability?
Remind me, I got distracted by setting shit up.
That's all right. Enters battlefield. Let's see. Whenever it deals more than 2 damage to a player, you may pay that much life. If you do, add a triple black to your mana pool. It doesn't empty until your end step.
So that is going to be 1 life per mana, at least. And it could
Yes.
theoretically actually be more.
It's a you may, so if it's too much damage, you can just say, "Nah, I'm good." But yeah, it would be basically you're paying life to Dark Writ at a rate of 1 per mana.
Yeah, I think 1 per mana is way too fucking expensive. I don't think you need the qualifier of at least 2 damage on there.
Hmm.
Allow the opportunity for me to say, you know what, I'm gonna play this monster, and then I'm going to waste another card and some more mana to play weakness on it, so that I can hit you for just 1, so that I can pay 1 life for 3 mana.
My main problem with that is that if I remove the more than 2 damage, I either have to add the rider for combat damage, which I like it being allowed to do pings as long as the pinging is not that easy, or the reason why is because there are combos that allow you to basically make infinite mana by pinging. That would allow you to make infinite mana by pinging with this creature just over and over and over again. Because you'd use the mana from the ping that's produced from the pinging to untap the creature, to tap it again to make more mana, to tap the creature to untap, and just do that cycling. And I didn't want that.
Okay.
It has to be more than 1. And if it's going to be more than 1, I might as well have it be, basically her full power.
Then I think you should at least change it to be to gain a number of black mana equal to the damage taken. Because if I get to the point where it's like, oh, okay, well, I buffed my guy, so now I have to pay 5 life, but I still only get 3 mana. That's just feels bad, man.
True. I could do that. It really wouldn't change much since you're paying per the life. It just makes the text in the box very tiny.
Yeah.
Red is the ability the next ability, the other ability you could have when it enters the battlefield. I think's the more powerful of the two, anyways. So the other ability, once it enters the battlefield, you could choose red instead. And let's see, instants and sorceries with mana value more than 2, you cast during your turn, deal 2 damage to any target in addition to their normal effects.
Okay, so all of a sudden I'm splashing black in Storm.
No. More than 2. How many 3-drops do you have in Storm?
Oh, more than, not equal to. Okay. Yeah.
It does not work with Storm, and even if it did, your copies are not cast.
No, it
Although
means that I don't actually need Grape Shot to kill you. So it means I can kill you with fucking Seething Song or Desperate Ritual.
I think Gifts and Past in Flames are the only two cards in Storm that would actually trigger it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking is like, okay, make my fucking yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's actually a relatively balanced ability for red, because a lot of a lot of red decks that use instants and sorceries, they don't use things that cost 3 or more.
The thing
They
that I
use
like
things that are
about it is
1
it
or
actually
2 or
makes Act of Treason good.
yeah. It basically tacks a shock onto anything over 3 or more. Which is pretty cool, and it's on a decent body. If this was a real card, that mode would be the one I think that it would be the no-brainer for running. I don't think anybody would actually run the black mode.
Well, it depends. I mean, you might just be running a creature deck and you don't have instants and sorceries, in which case black is still going to be better for you because it might possibly be useful.
True. I guess like in limited, you might run it in black, but in constructed, you're probably never going to run it in black.
Yeah, probably.
In constructed, you're always going to set it up to run in red. All right, moving down. We have the Simic legend. 3 mana, 1/2 flyer. Legendary creature, Elemental Fairy. Enters the battlefield, choose one. Green is Planeswalkers, gain +1 loyalty at the beginning of your upkeep, and enter the battlefield with +1 loyalty.
I noticed a lack of you control there.
I didn't mean to, but I'm okay with that. And then blue is whenever a spell is countered by an effect you control, tap target artifact or creature, put a stun counter on it.
Ooh. So if you tap it, instead tap it down. I like it.
What?
I said, so if you tap something, instead tap it down. I like it. And I still
Tap
like
it down?
down better than stunned.
Taps down?
Yeah. As in one step beyond tap. You tap it twice. You tap it down.
Oh, okay.
I came up with that term back when there wasn't a keyword for it, and I still like it better than stun. So.
Stun is what they use, so it's what I put on the card.
I know.
But yeah, blue is basically you're playing control. You're playing counterspell control. That's the mode you want it on.
Yeah, it's
and then
more
green
of a white ability, but it definitely plays very well with blue.
Yeah, and then green is I'm super friend lover. I think it's a pretty good one. I don't know how overpowered it is. Because it's only +1 loyalty at upkeep and +1 loyalty when it enters the battlefield. I'm certain there's probably some problems that you could probably crop up with this.
I think that both halves of the card want to be in a Bant deck. Like, both halves of that card are not happy playing without white.
I've seen green, I've seen mono green Super Friends before.
I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying both halves of that card feel like they want to play with white. Even more so than each other.
I don't know. Blue does tap and stun things fairly often. Mostly with like freeze effects. Like you're freezing things solid.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that blue doesn't do it. I'm just saying, like, in my mind,
you're right about
when it comes to a tapping effect, it immediately goes to white. And then, like, if it's not gonna be white, then it's blue. Like, blue is the definitely the secondary there, but it's always white in my mind.
White hasn't gotten tapping abilities in quite some time nowadays. It's moved over to blue. Tapping has moved over to blue. White has gotten flicker effects as its exclusive gimmick.
Yeah, true.
Anyways, I think this is probably one of the more powerful of the ones, or at least the more usable and more in its circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely
And
a
then,
very solid ability. And
and
I
then,
mean, the green one is either going to be fucking amazing or worthless.
I don't know. The green one I think will be amazing or possibly useful, but it might be just a drop in the bucket. I can see what you say. I think I'm going to lean more on them amazing. Because, like, you start messing with how many loyalty counters are things, you can break planeswalkers really quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that card is 100% a commander staple.
All right, and then the last one is the Golgari legend. It's just 2 mana, black and green, 1/1 with menace, which is, I mean, okay. A legendary creature, Spirit Survivor. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Black. Whenever a creature you control would die, exile it instead. When this creature leaves the battlefield, return all creatures exiled with this ability to your hand.
Okay, so when a non-token creature you control would die, exile it instead, and then what's the trigger to return them all to your hand?
When this legendary 1/1 menace dies, return them to your hand.
But if they manage to exile him, then they're all actually stuck exiled because it's an on-death trigger.
Yeah, it does say die, so. However, it's in black. And black-green, you're likely playing some sort of black-green aristocrats. They are not going to let you target this thing with something without yeeting it into the garbage can themselves first.
Yeah.
And then green. Whenever you cast a spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it shares a card type with the spell... if it shares a card type with the cast spell, you may cast it as though it had flash.
Alright, read that whole fucking thing one more time.
Whenever you cast a spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it shares a card type with the cast spell, you may cast it as if it had flash.
Okay. Honestly, that is close enough to a bunch of different things that have been done before, and yet I don't think it has actually been done before, right?
I don't think so, no. There are a couple of things to note about that ability that aren't there. Like, until end of turn.
The way it is worded, I definitely read it as only when it is revealed, because otherwise...
That's why it gives the card flash. So that regardless of what kind of spell you cast, you can... When you reveal it, you have to make the decision, do I cast that now? And then it'll go on the stack on top of the spell you cast.
Yeah.
And you could technically... And it's not cast for free. It's just, look at it, you can cast it. So technically you could chain this. If you had a deck full of nothing but instants, you could be like, I play an instant, that's an instant, that's an instant, that's an instant, that's an instant, until you run out of mana.
That honestly would probably break Storm.
Good thing it's in the complete opposite colors of Storm.
But guess what? It's only 2 mana. You know what else is 2 mana? Manamorphose.
Yeah,
What does
I don't
Manamorphose
think
give me?
I don't think it would have a place in Storm.
I think if it was a real card, it would be worked in.
I think if it was a real card, there would be some people who would try it. I don't think it would end up having a place.
No,
Anyways, what do
actually,
you
you're
think of
right,
the...
because you know why it doesn't break Storm? Even if it was red-blue. Even if it was 100% on color, it still wouldn't break Storm.
Which is?
And it's because of something that you actually said just a minute ago, and I hadn't even been thinking of, but it's because they're going on the stack before the other spell resolves, which means you cannot use it to chain mana buff, 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 mana buff. Oh, hey, look at that. I have a shit ton of mana and a shit ton of storm. Now I'm going to start my turn.
Yeah.
Like, that was what I had immediately thought of. But yeah, because of the fact that they would all just be going on the stack, you would not receive that earlier mana or earlier cards. So you are very limited on how far you can actually go with it. And then if you do manage to actually get a couple of stacks worth on it, then you are making the single best sideboard card against you that much better if your opponent actually has it.
Yeah. I do see a deck that would be... that someone would make to break this card. I can see someone trying to make a deck that would break the green ability.
Honestly, I think there's... I mean, that one, the other green one, could definitely be built around to be broken. I think a bunch of them could. Like the black life to mana one, especially now seeing the rest of these, like, it's just fucking terrible. It's terrible. It's not even in the same fucking league.
But the red ability on the same one, add shock to anything with 3 or more. I could see a deck being built around that.
Honestly, I think it's good, but it's not amazing. Because, well, yes, it is add shock onto everything 3 or more. You don't want to be playing shit that's 3 or more in red. Like, that's just not what red does. Are there times, are there places, are there decks, are there cards? Yes, absolutely. But in general, red doesn't play 3.
No, not really.
So,
but black does.
Black does. And does the red side of it activate on black spells? Or does it specify red?
No, it doesn't specify.
Okay.
It's like
is me thinking
it's like the
wrong. And yeah, it's a card that you... Well, obviously,
it's like the Cons of Tarkir enchantments.
Deck because it's already a dual colored card, so duh.
Yeah, it's like the Cons of Tarkir enchantments where you pick cons or dragons.
Yeah.
And then the enchantment has a different effect depending on what you chose.
Yeah.
That's basically what these are, except they're creatures.
Yeah, no, I got you. And I understood the concept. I just, for some reason, I thought that it was only triggering on red spells.
No, it's just you pick a color and its ability is different depending on which of the 2 colors you choose.
I do think you should probably pick something, as far as wording on the card, lore-wise, that is other than the color.
Yeah, probably.
But I do like...
The only one I'm not really happy with is the Boros. The 6 mana 2/4. Because, like, The red ability is the most useful, and the red ability wants you to basically bolt creatures out of the way before you attack to get a trumpet to get trumpet blasts on top of your pings, your bolts. Although it is funny with double strike.
Yeah, that was pretty much immediately what I thought.
Whenever a creature you don't control dies, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn.
And not even necessarily double strike, just first strike, or at the very least, bolt before combat.
Yeah.
Or no,
Yeah.
bolt in combat after blockers are declared.
No, because the creature would still be flagged as blocked.
Doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Like, I wasn't thinking about removing a blocker so much as removing another creature, and all of a sudden you got blown the fuck out because you weren't.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, however, that the Boros one is probably the weakest of the 5.
Yeah, honestly, I would say Boros and then Rakdos. Like, I'm not impressed with either of the red ones.
Really? I would say I was going to say the Azorus one is one of the weaker ones. But I suppose its ability has more utility for the than I suppose I can see why you'd put Rakdos as the second worst. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, because like the Azorus one has Time Walk on it. You can't really rate that pretty low.
Oh, I mean, you can, because there are definitely lots of extra turn cards that fucking suck. And they're fun as hell even when they fucking suck. And I love building decks around them, and you know this. But yeah, no, there are definitely some extra turn cards that fucking suck. And then there are some that don't.
How would you build this the deck for this guy for this one?
Send me the text on it so that I can actually read it, because that's necessary to be able to provide a good answer for that one.
Okay, give me one quick sec.
Or you can also just share your screen in the Discord.
I'm on my phone.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it in Discord. The image in Discord.
Gotcha.
And loading, uploading.
Okay.
Done.
Human minion 2/2 for 5. Ward tap 2 untapped permanents you control. When enters the battlefield, choose 1. White 2 and tap. Return target artifact that was put there this game from exile or your graveyard to your hand. So return target artifact from exile or your graveyard to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that as a repeatable ability is definitely nothing to sneer at. The fact that it is 2 and tap um, makes it probably not breakable, but still potentially very powerful.
Mm.
I mean
Yeah, all of those.
that ability screams to me like Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah. Honestly, though, to me, it screams. My Stoneforge Mystics deck has just gotten like wiped, and now I need to recover and get my good artifacts from the graveyard or exile back.
Exactly. It is
Which
a
is not a place you want to be in a Stoneforge Mystic deck.
no, which is why it wouldn't be this deck built around this. It would be adding this to the sideboard of a Stoneforge Mystic deck because it's not good enough for the main board.
You know what this that ability screams to me?
What's that?
Recursion on all those artifacts that you sacrifice to blow up in your opponent's face.
Okay. The other thing I was thinking of is something along the lines of eggs, but with it being 2 and tap, that it's just not going to work there.
You need it. You need this. You need to tailor it to get specific artifacts that give you high value because they were only meant to be used once.
Yeah.
Things like scour glass, though that wouldn't work here because but scour glass is um Wrath of God, except it doesn't hit artifacts. That wouldn't work here, but it's that sort of card effect, the high value.
All right, I have a very important question for the blue side of this, though.
Okay.
Whenever you cast 4 spells with different card types in the same game phase, we're going to skip the game phase part. We already talked about that. I'm tracking with you there. But
Okay.
Cast 4 spells with different card types. So if I cast Artifact, Enchantment, Creature, Artifact Creature.
No.
Okay. So,
Because it basically that would end up being ruled with Tarmogoyf rules.
okay. So the flip side of it, though, all right. So if I have Artifact Creature, Artifact, Instant Sorcery.
Yes, because creature, artifact, instant sorcery.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that the fact that the artifact creature is an artifact doesn't mean that the artifact doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, the artifact creature enchantment sorcery would work if it didn't say cast 4 spells.
Yes. Yes,
with
exactly
different
that.
card types.
Now, Dryad Arbor is still not a creature for this because it says cast, correct?
I believe so. I don't know how the rules are on Dryad Arbor via casting versus, I know it's a land creature.
But it is
I don't.
played as a land. I am 100% positive on that. So it
Okay,
is
yeah.
not cast. And as
Yeah,
we
Dryad
discussed
Arbor.
earlier, there is that distinction in that lands are not cast. Even when lands do things, they are not cast.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think Dryad Arbor would actually work on this, on the blue ability because of the land sort of things.
Yo, what's good? Walk the grid. How you doing? I don't know what you're saying please for, but let me know. I'm happy to oblige if possible. But yeah, I honestly, I don't feel that this is bad. I feel like that blue side is actually probably breakable. It is
I'm just
very
not sure what
difficult to get to.
I'm not sure what spells you'd use to break it.
Well, Brainstorm, Serum Visions, Ornithopter, Enchantment of Choice.
Yeah, but like, unless you're playing Boggles, not a lot of decks run enchantments. And Orthodox is basically a worthless
literally,
card.
like any one mana enchantment. You can go Freed from the Real. You could go fucking Seize Claim. You could go fucking like. I mean anything you could or
yeah,
artifact.
you could trick.
Like I'm saying, just another fucking 1-drop artifact or enchantment permanent, whatever the hell you want. But that's 3 mana, and you get an extra turn.
And your deck is full of garbage.
None of those cards that I just named are garbage.
Orthodox is kind of garbage. At least it is nowadays. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's not that hard to trigger, but you need to trigger it with. You probably want to trigger it with specific spells because you're just degrading the value of your deck by containing some of those. Brainstorm is a good one because it's Brainstorm.
Yeah.
Brainstorm is Serum Visions is also Serum Visions is a 1-drop. Serum Visions is a 1-drop, so that's also a good one.
You know as well as I do that we have other cards that fit that same. Okay, basically 1-drop instant cycle, 1-drop sorcery cycle. There is 2 of your 4, and they're cards you're happy to be playing anyways. Then it's just, okay, now I got 2 other spells, and it's not like I don't have cards on which to play. So, okay, I got to play an enchantment or an artifact and a creature, or just 2 out of those 3.
I think probably this deck would not use enchantment. It would probably use artifact, creature, sorcery, instant.
I'm just saying that you can build whatever shell around that. I mean, you could do a control deck where this is actually your fucking finisher. Because with this in play, you just keep going. Like, even
I don't think this would be your finisher because
damage per turn.
This wouldn't be your finisher. I would call this your. I would call this your enabler, because this by itself, it'll let you take as many extra turns as you want, but you only get the blue one of the 2 abilities. So you're going to want to have something else that actually damages your opponent to actually finish things.
Yeah, but I'm saying, obviously you're skipping white entirely in this instance. The white is there for the ability to cast this spell.
I don't know. I would see white as a valuable thing to put in.
White can be an integral part of the deck for control, or white can be a splash for this card. That's exactly how I see it. The blue here, that is exactly what you want. And you can put this in a control shell, you can put it in a fucking combo shell. I would probably go the control route with this. I would probably go primarily blue with some black and some white. Like board wipes and fucking removal. Just go a straight combo shell, and once he comes out, they just don't get another turn because you can just keep fucking cycling shit.
Okay, so what colors do we not have we not done? Have I not done so far?
You'd have to send me all of them for that. I don't have that good of a memory, sir. You should know this by now. Come on. So yeah, honestly, I think that the Azorius one is definitely not third worst. It's probably top 3 for me. And the fact that it has ward is amazing. I know that its ward cost is not impressive, but it means that
It's
there
mostly
are
annoying.
times where you literally can't target it because you are actually tapped out or close to it. And it means that it's always a decision of you got to tap something. I mean, yeah, there is a possibility that you have 2 random ass enchantments in play that it doesn't matter if they're tapped, and so it's actually free. But that is unlikely.
Okay, so
Oh, by the way, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to go ahead and throw this up on the browser so that the audience can see the card we're talking about. Cool?
okay.
Ben and I
There.
like making magic cards. We're that kind of geek. And it's awesome. So, unfortunately, because my potato is potato. Actually, wait, no, it might be showing right. Minimize this. Go back here. Okay. Well, good enough. Anyways, y'all can see that it is a 5 mana legendary human minion 2/2 ward. Tap up to 2 untapped permanents you control. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. And we've been talking about the blue option. Yeah, honestly, I don't even need the white part on this card to run it. Like, I would run this card as is without the third paragraph.
Hmm.
Honestly,
So
I think this could actually just slot into the Mech Pro deck and fit well. Like, it's there.
okay, so I got the other 5 guilds pseudo templated.
Okay.
And in that I listed them.
Yep, so what are we missing?
Is it Demir, Selesnya, Gruul, Orishov?
All right, so start with mana cost first, I guess, because that's what you did last time, right?
I think those are going to be like 2 separate cycles.
Yeah.
One going from 2 to 6, and then the other 5 are going to also go from 2 to 6.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So, which one is going to be?
The weird thing about
6?
this, though, is that you did both red pairs and both green pairs already.
Yes.
So the cycles are off color.
Okay.
I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying it's fucking weird. Because that means you're going to have... And you already have Azorius. So this means you're going to have... Both.
Balance is lame. But yeah, so for the first group, I started with building the 6-drop.
That's actually what I figured also, because that's the order you gave them to me. I figured you want 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So, who's 6? Not Izet.
Why not?
Because I'm a fucking Storm player.
Well, I'm sorry, but I doubt I doubt I'm going to let you build a
Oh, I
a
know you're not.
superpower piece for.
I know you're not. I don't even want to think about a 6-drop in that color combination. Like it's no. No, let's pick one of the other four. We'll move is that I'm not saying it has to be 2 or 3.
Niv Mizzet, one of the Niv Mizzets is a 6-drop.
And the other one's a 7. And how many times have they seen play?
I actually see a lot of play in Commander because
Commander
is
is
bullshit.
not Magic. Commander is Commander. I understand he's fucking amazing in Commander because Commander allows 7-drops. In fact, it requires them.
Unless you're playing competitive Commander, in which case you just tutor out your combo pieces and kill everybody by turn 4.
I mean, well, that's competitive Magic.
Surprise, surprise, but not so different after all. I will agree with you. There are other colors that make more sense being 6-drops.
Exactly. Like, I'm just saying not as that.
I'm leaning towards
Gruul.
Gruul or Selesnya being 6-drops.
Yes, Selesnya is a good choice, but I think Gruul is. I'd probably put Gruul at 6, Selesnya at 5. Is that at 4 or 3? Yeah, I think that feels right. That's where they want to be.
Okay. So,
who are the 2
Gruul 6, Selesnya. Gruul 6, Selesnya 5. Is at 4. Orashov 3. Demur 2.
What was the 4-drop in the first set?
Rakdos
I thought
was the 4-drop.
So what was 6 then?
Boros.
And 2 was Golgari, and 3 was
Simic.
And we got Izet at 4, Selesnya at 5, Gruul at 6, and you said who was 2 and 3?
Demur was 2. And Orashov was 3.
That would be who's left. Already, I like it already. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to do something real quick to send you an image. Send you images.
Yeah, go for it.
Wow, those images actually kind of suck. Crap. All right, give me 1 sec. Discord. Oh, you know what? That's not going to. That's just dumb. So I tried to do a print preview to get all of the cards that are finished. Oh, I already sent you that one. All right. In the I'm sending the other four finished cards in the text. And they're working on sending. Okay. I see you're making a spreadsheet.
Can you easily cycle through them and help me fill this out faster than me switching windows to pull up the pictures you sent?
Sure. I see you're typing in costs right now.
I did just finish the cost. I forgot about the delay on that. I'm on power.
Okay. Okay. Golgari is a 1/1.
All right, race.
Spirit.
Class.
Survivor.
Anything before the choices?
Menace. Each one has a keyword.
I thought so. Keyword, that's what I wanted there. Alright, choice 1. Black.
Whenever a creature... Yeah.
Go ahead.
Whenever a creature you control would die, exile instead. When legend name leaves the battlefield, return all creatures exiled with legend name to your hand.
There's only one eye in it. Alright, choice 2.
Choice 2, blue. Whenever a spell is countered by an effect... Oh, no, that's a different one. Choice 2, green. Whenever you cast a spell, reveal the top card of your library. If a shard shares a card type, you may cast that spell as if it had flash.
Whenever you cast a spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it shares a card type with that spell, you may cast it as if it had flash. Is that supposed to be reveal or look at?
Reveal.
That makes it a whole lot worse.
Not that much worse.
Whole lot worse. Means your opponent sees every single card of your library. Potentially. Means that your opponent has perfect knowledge on your hand.
True, but you're the one who chooses to play it in green. So the decks that care wouldn't be running this creature anyways.
I'm just saying, you never want your opponent to have information.
True.
Like, I understand the reveal it to be able to play it. Because
we could do a UA.
It shares a card type. But you can look at it, and then when you put it back, your opponent does not know whether you didn't play it because you chose not to, because you didn't have the mana, or because it didn't match.
If we're going to fix that, I would rather put a you may. Whenever you cast a spell, you may reveal.
Okay, that works too.
That way, if you don't have the mana for it, why give them that info?
Exactly. That's the only thing I want. It's like, I cast something and I'm tapped out. Now I have to show you the top card of my library?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was thinking Corsair of Crufix doesn't give a crap, so...
This is true, but that is not a... that is also because he allows you to play them from your library. And there are other cards that play with the top card of your library exposed, but as a static effect, you get to do something with it. Whereas, it just seemed awkward. With it being a you may, I feel a lot better about the card.
Okay. All right, so next one, or do you still have questions about Golgari?
No, is there anything else on that?
No.
Alrighty, so... Simic.
Okay, Simic is a 1/2 with flying.
Race class?
Race, actually. Elemental Fairy. Or maybe Fairy Elemental. I don't really care what order it's in.
You said Elemental Fairy, so I put Elemental Fairy.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you said that to begin with, I kind of, huh? But, hey, okay. I don't hate it. I'll roll with it.
We have Elemental Skeleton. Elemental Fairy should be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not new ground. It's not a... It's a unique particular combination, as far as I know. But it's not new ground. All right, choice one.
Planeswalkers gain +1 loyalty at the beginning of your upkeep, and enter with +1 loyalty.
Wait, that's the
and
green.
Enter the battlefield with +1.
That's green.
That's green, yeah.
So that would be choice 2.
Choice 2?
Yes.
Why choice 2?
Color order. It's the way that it is done for cards, so. White, blue, black, red, green. It's just how...
Then why do the mana symbols on the card arrange them with 1 green-blue instead of 1 blue-green?
That is a good point. Good point. Because I remember that I think they changed it a little while ago, and they standardized shit. And...
Because that's the order I've been putting them in, is in order of the mana of how the mana value on the top goes.
Okay.
Like for.
All right, fair. No, perfectly fair. And I guess I was doing the same thing, only I had it in order in my head, and so you can see. Look at all the costs. I put them in color pie order, but you're saying this one
Yeah.
is one green white.
Well, let me try something real quick. Yeah, it auto corrects. I just wanted to see if my order I type it in meant anything.
So you put
But
in
no,
one
I
white green and it still did green white.
blue, one blue green,
Yeah.
and it one blue green, and I changed, and it auto corrected by moving the blue over to the other side.
Okay.
So like I don't know if that's like specific formatting that they'd use now, but
I don't know. I always thought it was color pie order, but I guess not.
I don't know I don't know the order. I mean, it looks like color pie order. Azorus is WU. Rakdos BR. But Gruul is RG.
That's what I have. RG. You mean
And
it's GR?
if it was color, and if it was color pie order, because color pie order is Wooburg,
Yeah.
right?
RG.
Then okay, so it's sort of in color pie order, but when you don't have them right, when the letters aren't right next to each other, it like does other things. I don't get it. But let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Simic green ability. Planeswalkers gain +1 loyalty at the beginning of your upkeep and enter the battlefield with +1 loyalty.
Would planeswalkers be capitalized in the middle of a sentence? I think no.
I don't know the formatting on that. So I'll give it a maybe.
Heard. All right. Blue option.
Whenever a spell is countered by an effect you control, tap target artifact or creature, put a stun counter on it.
All right. So is everything a whenever?
Most things, yes.
Most means no. Okay. Whenever a spell is
Whenever. The green ability you just did is not a whenever because it's on upkeep and on trigger.
I actually switched the wording on that, so it's whenever. Oh wait, no. Yeah, because planeswalkers enter the battlefield with +1 loyalty. At the beginning of your upkeep, planeswalkers gain +1 loyalty, so it's not a whenever. You're right.
They don't all start with whenever, but a lot of them do. I think there's like 3 abilities total that don't have whenever.
Alrighty, so whenever a spell is countered, or whenever a spell you control is countered.
Whenever a spell is countered by an effect you control. Since there are creatures that tap, I had to use effect instead of...
Gotcha. Also sacrifice, also counter...
no longer valid targets sort of bullshit, yeah. Although in that
Oh, no,
particular case, the no longer valid targets, it isn't countered by an effect you control.
No, it is not. I was about to say the same thing.
It's countered by state-based actions.
It isn't even countered. It just fizzles.
Yeah.
God, we're fucking nerds. I love it.
I think they used the word counter in the old rules for that back in really long time ago.
Yeah, and then I think they realized that one was actually a problem, and so they got rid of it before it became a problem. Back when they were proactive.
Yeah.
Alright, whenever a spell is countered by an effect you control...
Tap target artifact or creature. Put a stun counter on it. I love the fact that stun counters allow me to abbreviate. Tap, it doesn't untap during its next untap step.
Right.
So useful.
How much more useful would it be to, whenever a spell is countered by an effect you control, tap down target artifact or creature, or just tap down target artifact or creature?
I think there would be problems with basically having to explain that tap and tap down are different things to new players.
Honestly, I'm thinking it means you turn the card not like upside down, but you tap it and then you go one step further, because that is a position that is not used in Magic and also officially solves the problem of which direction are your cards officially supposed to go. Because if it's tapped down, then when you untap it, you just tap it. You put it back to being tapped. It's the same exact thing. It's just an additional step on that arc. I think it's elegant, but obviously they went a different direction. So.
All right, so the next one I think is Rakdos.
Correctos.
Okay.
God,
Rakdos
that was a bad joke. I love it.
Human wizard.
PT.
3/3 first strike. What's up?
PT.
3/3.
3/3 human wizard first strike.
First strike.
All right, red ability.
Instants and sorceries with mana value more than 2. You cast during your turn, deal 2 damage to any target in addition to their normal effects.
Mana value, not mana cost?
They don't use mana cost anymore, they use mana value.
Okay, and would it be higher than 2 or more than 2?
I don't know their formatting. I've been using more than 2. But I think they'd probably go 3 or higher, would be their formatting, based off of other cards that care about mana value.
It's any target?
Yeah. It's literally just tack a shock on it.
Instants and sorceries with mana value more than 2 cast during your turn deal 2 damage to any target in addition to their other effects.
Yes.
Boom. First take, baby. How you like me now? Black side.
Whenever legend name deals more than 2 damage to a player, you may pay that much life. If you do, add black to your mana pool. I think we decided to add black to your mana pool equal to the amount of damage you've dealt.
Exactly.
Or equal to the amount of life you paid. I think it's equal to the amount of life you paid.
It's all equal to the amount of damage dealt. You pay that much life, you get that much mana.
Yeah. It doesn't empty until your end step.
Yeah, I was gonna put until your end step. This does not empty, but you're right. It's this mana does not empty from your pool until all right, there we go. Azorius. Wait, that's the one that I have right here. He is a 2/2 ward. He is a
Okay, yeah, you. I
minion.
sent all the pictures to there. So human minion. Minion is a class, by the way.
I know. I just screwed up typing it.
That's fine.
Just like up here, he does not have first strick.
Oh,
Alright, ward, tap 2, untapped permanent you control. Choice 1. 2, tap. Return. Target artifact. Exile. Or your graveyard. To your hand. If it was put there this turn. Two tap, return target artifact from exile or your graveyard to your hand if it was put there this turn.
Yeah. So I think we decided we didn't need the from this game part. Search it.
Oh, it's not turn. It's or it's not turn. It's game. So it's just return target card. There is no if there. Return target artifact from exile or your graveyard to your hand. Okay. All right, and the blue.
And the blue ability. Whenever you cast 4 spells with different card types in the same game phase, you may take an extra turn after this one.
Whenever you
Should we
cast...
add a rider? Should we add a rider at the end for saying this only triggers once each turn?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Whenever you cast 4 spells with different card types in the same game phase, you may take an extra turn after this one.
Okay. That still does put a limit on it, but it's a lot higher of a limit. And I don't think it's a limit you'll ever actually realistically reach.
I mean, I think if you run a proper deck of low mana cards and run enough lands, like, that is absolutely fucking doable the turn after you can play him.
Yeah.
And, I mean, stringing it together, that's rough. But the potential is there. I'm not saying I know the list to break that, but I've got some ideas. I mean,
I don't believe with the way it's worded. I do not believe with the way it's worded it would allow you to chain that trigger multiple times in the same game phase. I think it would only trigger once per game phase due to the how it's worded. But that means you can get easily get 2 turns, 2 turn triggers per your turn for each of your main phases, and with some difficult.
Because I don't even care about getting another turn in my second main, because I have a whole nother turn to worry about getting another turn.
True.
Like, my main phase is concerned with getting my next turn. Then at that point, I have a combat if I choose to use it, and the rest of my main phase to worry about actually killing you and setting up for the next turn. And then...
Okay, yeah. I guess it really doesn't matter.
I mean, but that's just from someone who has actually played a number of chaining turns decks. That is how I approach it. Like, my main phase, my first fucking priority, from untap through the end of my first main phase, is concerned with getting my next turn. Then, at that point, mission successful, or whether I can't do it yet. Then it's, okay, well, do I want to try and kill you, and what do I want to do on that front? But firstly and foremost is, alright, how am I getting my turn engine going? And then every turn that I take, it's that same pattern. It's all the way up through main phases, alright, get my next turn set up so that you don't get one, and then focus on killing you. Alright, next turn, rinse and repeat. First, get another turn, then try and kill you. If it comes down to it and the choice is try and kill you or take another turn, I'm taking another fucking turn. Kill you later. Bye-bye. I have decked myself in multiple turns decks trying to be a little bit too conservative on the side of taking more turns and playing defensively when I had the kill if I had just fucking gone for it. Lesson to be learned there if anyone cares to pick that up. But yeah, I'm actually going to bold and I'm gonna make that motherfucker blue, because that's my favorite line so far in all of this shit. Boros.
Boros is boring. It's a 2/4. It's a 2/4 human shaman. I mean, it's still usable, but
yeah.
with vigilance.
All right, choice 1, white.
As long as at least half your lands are untapped, other creatures you control get +0/+4.
Solid, not amazing. Go.
No. Alright, red. Whenever a creature you don't control dies, creatures you control gain +1/+0 until end of turn. That could get stupid real quick.
Whenever a creature you don't control dies, creatures you control get +4/+0 until end of turn.
But
Can I just
no,
say...
it's +1/+0. +4/+0 would be too much.
Yeah, also true. But yeah, double strike, like, that's absolutely where this is just ridiculousness. All right. Oh, now we're building time. So we're
I'm
starting
working
from
on.
the top. You said gruel?
I'm working on gruel at the moment.
All right. Well, I want a big, bad mammoth jamma. Not a human.
That's what. It's not a human.
Okay.
I don't have power toughness yet. I have cost, class, and I have keyword, class, and race, and choices. I'm done. Basically done. I'm just wording red right now.
All right. Well, I just put in some shit, not knowing what you got. So you give me the rest when you're ready. Do you have race and class?
I want to cut that power and toughness down, and you'll understand why when we get to things. Race is it's another one that doesn't have a class. It's just 2 races. Demon Giant.
Okay, then how in the hell you gonna tell me his ass too big if he a demon giant?
Because he has double strike.
Okay, even better. Let's go.
5 is too much for a double striker on 6. With his extra ability. I was thinking 3. Makes him an effective 6/7.
All right, I'll give it to you. All right, what's the choices?
I'm still formatting red. I can give you green, though.
Okay.
Green. Whenever you search your library for a land, you may search it for an additional basic land and put it into your hand.
Oh, spicy. If it's going into your hand, you have to reveal it. Because otherwise you can grab something you can't. So what are you thinking on red? What's going on? Oh,
Whenever a creature you control attacks, you may pay X, where X is that creature's mana value. If you do, double that creature's power and toughness.
Did you forget to say until end of turn or leave it off because I'm typing, or is it intentionally
Until end of,
not there?
no, until end of turn is there.
Whenever a creature you control attacks, you may pay X, where X is that creature's mana value. If you do, double that creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Got it.
What do you think?
I think that's actually really good. That's a very solid fucking card. Like, that's actually, for a 6-drop, that is playable.
Mm-hmm.
That is very playable, especially in red-green, where, yeah, double strike makes that 3 real fucking dangerous. And if you can, I don't know, maybe you're, playing Naya and you pair him with our fucking shaman buddy over there, and there you go, living the fucking dream. And I think that by the time you get him out, you're not very likely to go to green at all. However, if you are ramping and you manage to get him out on like turn 3 or 4, I can absolutely see that green ability being fucking phenomenal, because you just want to continue to fucking build shit, and yet you don't want to be drawing lands. So every time you fucking pop a fetch, get 1 out, you're getting 2 out of there. I fucking love that ability. That is beautiful. That's honestly why I want to play that card. Like, that deck thinning. Ugh. Fucking tasty. Made me open this Nopper. It's so tasty. I haven't even dipped it in my coffee yet. Oh. Wait, you ready? Listen for that crunch. Damn, it's that crunchy after being dipped in coffee. What?
No, I want to save that for something else. There we go. Aristocrat. Actually, I think advisor. Ally?
Not to do
I don't
ally
know.
shenanigans, but to trigger ally shenanigans. Because, I mean, if we aren't actually naming the guilds here, then it makes me wanna.
Okay, well, ally will work.
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't like it. I was actually leaning towards wizard, but how about
I was thinking something more along the lines of like noble. Actually, is noble in on this list?
You're right. Fuck it. Go for flavor, not synergies. You're right.
Like I was thinking like a prince or some sort of.
Oh yeah,
There
because
is
they
no
are
noble on this
legendaries.
list.
They are legendaries. So
I think noble. I think noble would be the best option. Merfolk noble. I'm currently working on Selesnya.
all right. Well, then you work on Selesnya. Oh, here. You know what? Actually, share.
I'm already watching your spreadsheet on Twitch.
Yeah, but now you can work on it. Boom.
I don't like that.
I like it like that.
Okay, cool. That one works. Me, you island walk, huh? Honestly, I don't have a problem with island walk. It works. But only on that one. I'm running out of keywords, by the way.
Yeah, that was exactly it. And I didn't want to take anything important either. And also, it fits with Merfolk, and it's. I mean, I'm starting to develop an idea.
Okay. Well, currently, I only need 2 more keywords. Because I have keywords for everything else. Uh, First time, first alignment. You still there?
Yes, I'm thinking about the red ability for Alam Shabal.
What's the blue ability?
Whenever Lam Shabal or another merfolk enters the battlefield or attacks, all lands become basic islands until end of turn.
I don't mind it, with one change.
Okay?
In addition to their other types.
No. That's the whole point.
So basically the thing is I play a merfolk before combat, and fuck you if you don't have aren't playing blue because you don't get your combat tricks. For 4 mana? Or honestly, 1 mana? No, I think that's too broken.
Oh, sorry. On my turn.
Trigger.
On my turn. Like, you're right. I was not thinking about Ether Vial shenanigans and doing this on the beginning of your turn.
Even on your turn, that means that if you get a 1 mana merfolk before combat step, your opponent, if they're playing anything that is not blue, you've denied them all of their combat tricks because they have to spend them right then and there. That effect is just, it locks your opponent out of doing anything during your turn. You might as well just have it like your opponents can't play spells during your turn. I don't mind you using it to activate, landwalk ability so that everybody can swing in unblockably, but I don't like cutting people out for 1 mana every turn. Turn after turn after turn.
Yeah, it probably is too powerful for 4 mana.
Yeah.
Alright, how about the original idea that I had without the making it a whole lot more powerful? Whenever Lam Shabal attacks. So it's only him, and it's only when he attacks. It is basic islands, so fuck your lands. If you're not prepared for it, that really sucks. But it's only when he attacks, and it means that he has to attack.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
I mean, he has island walks, so you're not going to block him anyways. But I mean, it does mean that it's sort of a load bearing now, where it's all based off of him, and so your opponent can attempt to bolt him if that's really what it needs. But I mean, your opponent could try and bolt him earlier, but you're playing blue. so he probably isn't going to.
Also, he's a merfolk, so Bolt is not going to work by the time I can play a 4-mana card.
Yeah.
um,
But okay, I'm okay with that. I have to look up food tokens. Give me a sec. Gain 3, okay.
are you in on the page? Oh no, you said you're on your phone.
Okay. I have the green ability of the green-white creature of the Selesnya.
All right, hit
I
me.
need to... All right, so the green-white creature is a tree folk druid. I haven't run power toughness yet. With reach. The green ability is create 5 artifact food tokens named sunflowers with the food ability to sack, gain 3 life, and 1 sack, gain 1 mana of any color.
That was 1 NSAC. Okay.
2 in sack to use as food, because all food have that ability.
Yeah, but
And then it's
the mana is
1 and to gain 1 mana of any color. Basically, they mana filter.
So 1 NSAC to gain 1 of any color.
Yep.
Kevin's gonna love that one.
Why?
He is a fucking sunflower seed fiend. Motherfucker probably eats about 5 pounds a week.
What do you think of the? What do you think of that token?
I kind of like it. Gives you dual utility. I mean, food tokens are good as is. Adding some utility to it, I don't think makes it broken, but it fits right in. Do they count for things that count food?
Well, yeah, they're food tokens.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. And is there a precedent of making things that are food tokens plus?
Like, do extra things?
Yeah, like this. This is a food token plus.
Normally, Well, I mean, these are special tokens, but called sunflowers. But there are other food tokens out there that do other things.
That's
Or
what
there
I
are other
meant. Like,
food artifacts that aren't tokens that do other things, but they're still food.
gotcha. All right. Do you have your white, or are you still working on that?
Still not sure what I'm gonna do for white.
I shall work on Demir while you're doing that then.
I had thoughts for Demir. So there are two keywords I'm okay to have at this point that I can think of. I guess there's actually like three. Flash, Death Touch, Lifelink.
I put one down already that was not on your list, but I think it fits for Demir.
No. I don't like using unblockable as a keyword. I know it fits for Demir, I just don't like using unblockable.
Well, I think Lifelink we can put on Orzhov. That fits there.
Yeah, probably.
Flash, I like Flash.
And
I'll take Flash.
Flash for Demir?
2-1 Flash for 2. I think that's starting us off in a good place.
Okay. I have white. I have the white ability. So what's the
So what's the what?
what's uh the merfolk's abilities?
Lam Shabal who travels all. 2-2 Merfolk Noble with Island Walk.
2/2. Okay.
Blue choice. Whenever Lam Shabal attacks, all lands become basic islands until end of turn. Red ability.
Attacks. all lands become basic until end of turn. Period. Okay, and red ability?
1. Tap. Gain control of target creature with mana value lower than Lamshabal's until end of turn. It gains haste. Untap it.
Gain control of target
Act of treason, but for 1 cheaper.
creature. Gain control of target creature with mana value less than?
Yes.
You said less than, right?
Lower than, yes.
Until end of mana value lower than until end of turn it gains haste.
Yeah, so
Till...
it's basically a 1 mana and tap to active treason, but it can only be a 3-drop or lower. I'm picturing him as this kind of just he's not like in line for the throne. He's not super heir or anything. He's not hugely important in his family. He's just a noble, so he's fucking well off, and he just travels the world, and he's been everywhere. He just goes all over the fucking place, and he always brings a shit ton of shit with him. He's a great guy to know and trade with, and he's a fucking merfolk, so he just goes everywhere, and sometimes he's got to go inland, and then that's a fucking problem, but he figures it out.
Okay. So, you ready for Selesnya?
Yeah.
Alright, so it's a 3/3.
Okay. Treefolk Druid Reach. White choice.
All sunflower artifacts you control are creatures in addition to their other types, with power and toughness equal to the number of sunflowers you control.
Oh, wow.
How powerful that is all really depends
on how many other sunflower cards there are in the set.
Yes. I mean, by herself, since she isn't white, you can cast her for 5, choose green and make 5, flicker with Ephemerate, which is 1 white, to flicker her out and back, choose white, and now you have 5/5/5s.
Yeah.
None of them can attack because they all would have summoning sickness. But you could do that on turn 6. You could do that on turn 6. That requires a precise set of you'd have to be running Ephemerate and other such things. But I think I think it'd be an interesting card.
All sunflower artifacts you control are creatures in addition to their other types. Their power and toughness are equal to the number of sunflower tokens on the battlefield.
You control.
You think battlefield is too powerful?
I don't like the sliver effect.
Well, they're both the sliver effect.
I don't like the old sliver effect. They don't print cards like that much anymore.
It's not just the sliver effect, though. That's the old elf effect, the old merfolk effect, the old fucking... Yeah.
Yeah.
Other tribes exist, too. Speaking of which, we don't have any goblins. Let's make an Orzhov goblin.
Elf. Rogue?
Oh yeah, look at choice 1. Oh yeah, you're not on the fucking thing. I haven't done choice 2 yet, but
When comes the spell of the target of a spell or ability, if it entered the battlefield or attacked or blocked this turn, return it to free loot. Okay. Block this turn, return it to your hand and draw a card. Okay, so there's a very narrow, basically you have to deal with this thing in main phase 1 of the second turn that it's in play. Okay. That's what I'm reading here.
it is a limited window to actually deal
Not
with it, correct?
not that limited of a window, but it is a window. And you have to attack with it. And it's a 2/1. So what ability is that? Black or blue?
That's blue.
Blue? Becomes the target of a spell or ability. Ability is spelled with a Y in this case. If it there's got to be a way to streamline that.
Yeah, basically my idea is you got to catch him flat-footed in order to actually hit him. So if he has moved at all, if he entered the battlefield, if he attacked, if he blocked, if he tapped, if he did anything, if he did anything, if he was already targeted by something, like, yeah, almost like fuck, what's his name? Norin the Wary. Kind of the feel I was going.
You may return it to your hand. Is it a you may return it to your hand, or do you have to return it to your hand? Highlight it again for me.
It
It
is a
is
return
not
to
a
your
you may.
hand. We could make it you may, but in all honesty, I'm more.
I'm okay with it not.
The point of the card.
Yeah, I'm okay with it not being a you may.
Like it is a way for your opponent to deal with it temporarily because they can always just return it to your hand. Like they target it with anything, and whoop, there it goes. They can fucking giant growth to return it to your hand. But unlike most return to hand effects, it draws you a card because what he does is he's just lost in the night. He's just fucking like goes everywhere. Go over here, get some information, lost in the night. Go over here, get some information, lost in the night. Motherfucker's a rogue. He just pops in, steals some information, and heads the fuck out. All he has to do is listen.
Question. Can we change creature type?
Okay. Thoughts?
Cat rogue.
Okay. Love it. Love it. Let's do it.
I'm thinking like panther catfolk.
I like it. I like it a lot. So
And then I like the black ability is like maybe a side in grave robbing. So something with graveyard recursion. Well, that's demure enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very demure.
Let's see. I like the when it attacks. Should it be when it attacks?
Oh, you got me going on the death thing. I'm running with that.
Yeah, well, I have an advertisement, so I can't see what you're doing. So I'll see it in about another 30 seconds. That's why I fucking hate watching live things on Twitch. So what are you thinking for black?
All right. When Slink dies, exile it instead. You may play it from exile with an additional cost of 3 life. If you do, draw a card.
I was actually thinking something along the lines of like scavenging news. Where like whenever a creature dies, you may pay 1. If you do, exile that card and do something. I think the Aura Shov would be a better fit for the for like the play from the graveyard sort of thing. What do you think?
Send me your wording.
I haven't decided what it's going to do yet.
I will let you work on that, and I'll start working on the Goblin Lifelink.
Okay.
What are we going to give him on the class? Let's go with it.
You still want an elf? Because we could make the Orajov an elf instead of goblin.
I think the Goblin's more fun for Orzhov, to be fair. I expect an elf in the Orzhov. The Goblin is entirely unexpected.
Alright, whenever a creature dies, you may pay 1. If you do, exile that card. I saw that card.
Okay, white and black.
Okay, long ass, but I've got one. For Orzhov.
For Orzhov. Okay.
Sorry, for Demur.
Okay.
For the black.
That's what I thought you were working on. All right, hit me.
Alright, whenever a creature dies, you may pay 1. If you do, exile that creature instead.
Wait. Go ahead.
Okay. If Slink would take damage, you may return any number of cards from exile to their owner's graveyard and prevent 1 damage for each card returned. It keeps his like slippery nature because he's basically just digging up dead bodies and using them as body doubles to get away from damage. Is the idea.
But this would also
in your
cards
work,
exiled by any other means.
yes, technically, but that's just because I didn't want to make the card so wordy that the text was invisible.
No, honestly,
We're not designing Yu-Gi-Oh! We're not designing Yu-Gi-Oh cards here, so. And I think the situations where that would actually matter aren't going to be particularly that large.
True, but it is there, and I like it. All right.
All right.
All right, so for Orzhov, I'm thinking about a really big and beefy goblin. He's an enforcer, and his name is His Will. He is the right hand man of the Dawn. No, you don't know his name. He's his will. I think we got a 3/3 lifelinker here. What is his white ability?
I was actually going to make him a 4/1.
Oh. Spicy. So really big and beefy, but his skeleton is so strained that if you so much as flick him, that motherfucker's gonna collapse.
He is a goblin.
I love it. I love it. That motherfucker got 18 strength with 3 con.
Alright, I've got an idea for black.
Now we're building that fucking character. We are building a goblin with 18 strength and 3 con.
Nice.
See how far he can fucking get.
I'm making up a new token on the fly for the black ability.
Sometimes it bees like that.
A memento artifact token. Okay. Black ability is done. So that's the white ability?
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Or does it need something else, or is that good, you think?
Oh, it's probably good, I think. A little bland, but I mean, there's some bland options on this list already.
And honestly, like, with him being a 4/1 lifelink already for 3 mana, like, if we give him too much shit, like, these cards are already kind of overpowered.
Of course.
Kind of very overpowered. Not complaining, just stating for the record that I recognize this. All right. Black ability. You said you had one. Hit me.
All right. Black. When legend name dies, put a memento artifact token into play with X. Sacrifice this artifact. Return target creature with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Stop. When his will dies, put a memento artifact creature token into play.
Not creature.
Okay.
Memento artifact token.
Into play with continue from there.
Okay. With pay X, sacrifice this artifact, return target creature with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Graveyard for the win. Alright, when his will dies, put a memento artifact token into play with pay X, sack, return target creature with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Gives him a form of recursion that you don't necessarily have to use on him.
Yeah.
And still relatively balanced because you still have to pay for the stupid thing.
Makes it a little bit easier because it's not...
Because it's not what?
It's not color bound.
Well, also, my main problem with trying to give him a way to do this is that he doesn't have either of these abilities unless he's in play. And so if he's in the graveyard, you can't really pick one of these two abilities while he's in the graveyard.
True. And there's no
way by rule,
to stick with him through death.
Not really. Not in like a normal format with the way they work things now.
Yeah, you can do an up to on death trigger, but anything in the graveyard is like it's on the card. It's not on.
I was going to call it a grave artifact token instead of a memento. But I think memento sounds better and is more neutral to be able to use in a lot of other things. I could see that token actually being printed by Magic using the word memento. All right.
That is a cycle.
Can we refine some of these? Because they all seem to have, like the 5 we just made, all have okay-ish themes for their color identities. And most of the ones I made before do as well, I'm happy with. I'm still not happy with Boros. I think Boros needs a rework. Because it is so bland.
It is. Also, for 6, like, this can be so much better.
I mean, red is okay.
Like,
the red
this
ability
is
is
an
okay, but the
okay
white ability is
4-drop.
bland.
Like, compared to the rest of our cards here, like, this is an okay 4-drop. This suffers at 6. This would be bad at 5. Like, this card is a 4-drop in this cycle. I think that's why you don't like it.
Yeah, I think we need to redo the abilities.
I think also we take a look at the 2/4 vigilance. Maybe he's 6 mana. Maybe you go 4/4 and you give him an ability that, or 4/4 with vigilance, or you go 3/4 with an ability that matters.
But what ability is left that makes sense for red and white? Exactly. I think I like the 2/4 is fine. I think we just need a better ability. Because these abilities make or break these things. Also, looking at it, we have too many cards that have power and toughness the same. I can agree with that.
As long as at least half your lands are untapped, other creatures you control get +0/+4.
Boring.
Creatures you control get +0/+4. He can be included in that. It doesn't.
It makes him an 8 toughness, which is still fine, but that's still not an. I still don't think that's powerful enough.
Exactly. It's a step. It is not the race. What about
I was thinking about that briefly. I have a different one.
Okay.
That has that same endpoint.
Okay.
It starts with that endpoint. Creatures deal combat damage based on their toughness.
Okay. And
I'm typing, hold up. That is not well that is how you spell base, but that's not how you spell based like what we're talking about. Based off their toughness. You control has
ooh.
Okay. Creatures deal combat damage based on their toughness, and each creature you control has toughness equal to the highest toughness on the battlefield.
We've seen that exact card before, I think.
I don't think we have. Combat damage based on toughness, there's a couple of them.
Is it all creatures or creatures you control?
Creatures deal combat damage based on their toughness.
Creatures you control
Have toughness equal to the highest toughness on the battlefield.
Yeah, that is worth 6 fucking mana right there. And with that being the case, I am okay with this motherfucker being a 1/4. So, there you go.
I'm okay with 3/4. I still think red needs reworked though.
Yeah, I was.
Because while red is the better of the two, it's...
Go too far. Alright, when a creature you don't control dies, creatures you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn.
Should we make him... Well, there is a standby we can go for in Boros.
Honestly, I think that one's fine the way it is.
You think so?
I think that one is fine the way it is. What were you thinking to going with?
Equipment matters.
Yeah, no, fuck.
Like, make equipment tokens.
I like that. If you are worried about it being overpowered...
I don't worry about red being overpowered. Yeah, I don't worry about that part of things, because you can't have both of these abilities at the same time anyways.
Exactly.
And they wouldn't help each other. Dice. Okay, I'm happier with that. I like that Boros card much, much better. So... Red White's theme is toughness matters. I'm making a little card notes for what each brand seems to care about.
He's almost patience and rage.
Who? Boros?
Boros.
I put down the toughness matters and pre-combat damage are the two things that he cares about. Disagree or agree?
Yeah, I mean, neither of those is wrong.
Mm-hmm. They're limited, but for like four words to describe what the color combo cares about in this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Azorius cares about artifacts and casting delirium.
Artifacts and turns. But yeah, delirium is a good connection there. Casting delirium.
So disposable artifacts and casting delirium. Since Azorius' ability is...
Oh, wait a minute. Worm coil engine.
Yes?
That's the one I'm thinking of, right? You sack it, it's like a 12-12, and then you sack it and it makes two badass fucking 6/6s.
No, it's a 6/6 that makes 2 3/3s.
Oh, okay. Well, still. Sack it, return it to your hand. Play it, sack it again. It's not a great loop, but it's solid.
It's a value. Yeah, it's a value. That's good value. Expensive value, but it is good value. Mm-hmm. So, in 4 words, Azorius cares about disposable artifacts and casting delirium. All right, black red. Blood for mana and
Shock value.
blood for mana and instants and sorceries bigger than 2. I'm just making little blurbs to help me with designing more in this.
Yeah, I was just suggesting shock value for the blurb. Because sorceries bigger than 2 is a little
wordy. Actually,
ooh. Oh
yeah. Okay. That'll have to be a minor thing, but I instead decided to put tape shock to things. Like you're just duct taping the spell shock to other card effects.
Yep. Shock value.
Rather than what triggers what it does. Alright, green-blue is Super Friends and counter spells. What's up?
Blue is tap down.
Okay,
Green is insanely loyal.
What's up?
Green is insanely loyal.
Yeah, and in the Simic side of things. It's not the first time we've had an effect that messes with loyalty like that, but I think this might be the first one in green, because that's normally
sure
white.
it's the biggest by far.
No, I think Ajani Goldmane, one of the Ajanis that messes with loyalty, is the biggest. He's white.
He's just one of his roll-ups is give every planeswalker a loyalty, right?
I think so, yeah.
This is way bigger than that because this is just at the beginning of your upkeep, everything gets +1 loyalty. Oh, by the way, if you got here late, well, have some loyalty anyways.
Yeah.
That's way bigger than Ajani.
Yeah, but there are cards that let Ajani double pump.
Mm-hmm.
And use multiple loyalty ability and use the loyalty abilities multiple times.
Oh, I've built that deck. I know. I've made that combo. I've hit it. It feels so good.
But this one doesn't have a way to really double pump.
No. But it's fine. It's great the way it is. It's broken, potentially, the way it is. Like, it doesn't need a double pump.
What would be Black Green's gimmick? Whenever would leave the battlefield, exile instead. And then return them all to your hand. Rescue from death?
Corpse Collector.
That would work too. And then the second one is oh, there's a keyword with that does stuff like that.
Yeah, I know there is. The closest thing I can think of is Cascade, and that's not it. But I know it's there. You're 100% correct on that. Kinship.
Yep.
I mean, that's a creature type thing, but it gets the idea. I think that there actually is one for type as well, but I don't know. I can't be sure.
Mm-hmm. Rescue from death and kinship. All right, now we're to the new ones. Mm-hmm. Red blue is
Lom Shabal, who travels all.
I don't think we should. I don't think that it should be. I don't think threaten should be a theme of a color combo.
Okay, what do you want instead?
No, I think the ability is fine. I just don't think I can make that a theme of the color combo.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like kinship and rescue from death, I could probably make those. Super Friends counter spells matter, sure. I mean, Super Friends means there's going to be at least 5-6 planeswalkers in this set, which not great. Most of them are going to have to share the color combo with Simic. I mean, most of these I can probably make into a archetype. That's the word, archetype. I steal your shit for a turn. Not a great thing to make into an archetype.
Actually, if you could do it well, it is.
It is, but it will also be unfun for a lot of situations.
Oh, it is so fun to play that deck if you can get it to work.
Yeah, it's
Oh
so fun
my
to
god.
play that deck. An annoyance and a half playing against it.
Oh, I know. I know. I have been on that side too. And the worst thing though, is when it starts going great, you're having all that fun, you piss the person off, and then it fizzles out, and then you lose that game and the next game because it just goes nowhere because that deck is fucking shit and it can't
I,
kill it can't finish the game. That's the problem.
I
It
made
is
that deck.
so much fucking fun until you run out of steam and die.
I made that deck in limited work once, and that was just because in my draft pod during Amonkhet, I was passed. I opened one copy and was passed two more of Kefnit's Last Word, which is 3 mana, steal target permanent.
Yep.
I made that deck work because I had 3 copies of that.
And in limited, that's huge.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you played a big guy, it's mine now. Oh, you killed your own big guy? Okay. Well, my lands don't untap, but next turn, your next big guy is mine. It was great. I didn't win that tournament. Most because the rest of the deck wasn't particularly good, but that was great. All right. So green white is all about food and sunflowers.
Yeah, it's just sunflowers. Like you don't even need to separate that shit by.
I'd probably put other food tokens, like normal food tokens, in that color combination too. But definitely sunflowers. All right, red green is I crush your face. That's red green.
Well, that's red. Green is I have all of the lands. All of them.
I crush your face. All that is I crush your face with an extra step. Mm.
Yeah, I guess if you really
I
think about it, the
crush
the
face.
BC is the I crush your face as fast as possible. The land is I crush your face more and more and more over time, compounding. It might take a few turns to catch up to what I missed by not just pounding you at first, but I'm gonna build.
All
You
right,
heard of a
demur.
snowball? You know what happens when a snowball starts with a steamroll?
Uh, all right, so there's demur, and then last up is Orzhov. White black. White black's gimmick is honestly, I'm just giving it to memento token.
Intimidate and remember.
Okay. So there are the little blurb cards for what each of the color combinations is about in this.
Feel free to add in, think of some of the other names.
I've actually been naming them in my own convention. based off of a series I'm interested in, but
Okay, well, feel free to
that series doesn't
take
matter.
those names and do something to them to make fitting actual names.
I'm actually having a hard time coming up with the Orishov one.
Okay, white, black.
I mean, yours is his will.
Oh, yeah, okay, you meant name. I thought you were...
Yeah. Which I'll probably come up with something later for. Okay. So since Super Friends is a big part of this, how many walkers should be in this set?
How many cards are you doing?
Don't know yet.
Then I can't really answer that question now, can I? At least... I don't know. I don't even know how many walkers are in sets nowadays. I know it's higher than it used to was.
They've actually calmed down on the number of walkers. But the biggest number of walkers happened in War of the Spark.
Yeah, wasn't it like 20 something?
I think they had
common walkers, right?
uncommon. They never went down to common. Uncommon was the lowest they went. There were 15 uncommons, I think 5 rares, and like 3 mythics. So there was like 23 walkers in that set. Or some shit like that.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Hey, yo, dog, I heard you like walkers, so we put some walkers in some walkers so that your walkers can walk out. You know what I'm saying? Walk out with their walkout.
Okay.
Like they're cooking some stir fry with their walkout.
So since this set is all 10 guilds, and this set has Super Friends as a gimmick. By the way, what rarity should the creatures be? Should these all be mythics since they're or should these be just basic rares?
We'll start with mythic for all of them, but we will because some of them don't deserve mythic. I think you adjust based on how good they are, or do you want to just keep it all at mythic?
Keep them all at mythic for now. We can retool as it gets built. Smelter. Planeswalker. Green, white. Planeswalker. Green. Black. Planeswalker. Mono green. Okay, so 5 of the Planeswalkers are going to be green.
Okay.
At minimum. So what I'm doing is basically I'm making a Planeswalker of every combination of green and every combination of blue, and then whatever's left over will be our flex slots for walkers.
Okay. So that's gonna give you 7. or are you counting mono green and mono blue? In which case it would be 9.
Mono green and mono blue.
Okay, so that's going to be 9.
Okay. Planeswalker, and Planeswalker. That gives us, out of the number I allocated, 3 flex slots for the other colors or color combinations. The reason why I went that is because green blue is the Super Friends color, so they need more representation there.
I don't think
Maybe
it needs to be skewed that heavily.
No, but I don't think it's a terrible idea, especially, I mean, with this many walkers. You know, with 3 extra slots, we could just make 1 walker of each color, and then leave the other color, the combo walkers being blue or green. So, like, a black walker, a red walker, and a white walker.
Sure.
Changing a bunch of rarities. My little blurb cards I'm changing to have special rarity, so that they don't show, so that they're easy to crop out. Okay. How many cards was in War of the Spark?
I have no idea, bro. None whatsoever. Thank you for thinking of me. But I am the wrong target for that question.
War of the Spark, 81st expansion. Oh. There were 36 planeswalkers in War of the Spark.
Ridiculous.
Ten monocolored uncommon planeswalkers, 2 for each color. 5 rare and mythic planeswalkers representing the original Gatewatch members. Ten uncommon multicolor hybrid mana walkers. Yeah, they did a lot of stuff in this. All right. All right, that's a good start.
Absolutely.
That is a good start.
Absolutely.
So, which card's your favorite of these?
Um,
Before we did the ones that you and me both did, your favorite I think was the Azorius, because you love taking extra turn shenanigans.
honestly,
What?
I'm hard pressed to say I like any of them better than him. still. I mean, I really like the 3/7 double strike.
That one just makes so much sense for Gruul.
Exactly. Like, I just wanted a big, bad Mamma Jamma, and so I was a little worried when you were like, no, you can't have 4 power. I was like,
Well, you are the only reason I said you couldn't have that much high of power is because I knew I was giving Gruul double strike. The only other color that could merit double strike would be Boros. And honestly, I think Gruul deserves double strike more.
yeah. No, I agree. I didn't say nothing. I just let it go, and glad I did, because, yeah, it was...
But here's another thing. Its power is a lie. Even with the double strike.
Exactly.
Because, like, with the red ability, if you swing with him, you pay 6. He's now dealing 12 damage over the course of his double strike.
Yeah, he's a ridiculous.
Admittedly, that does cost 6 mana.
Yeah. But then on the other side of it, like, you just go the complete opposite direction. Like, okay, either I'm just gonna get super buff and smash you in the face, or, oh hey, you got that nice big ass fucking tank over there, and a bunch of little shit, and I got a bunch of little shit and no fucking tank over there. So how about we all do damage based on our ass, and we all have asses like your tank over there.
Unfortunately, there's one problem.
What's that?
The Gruul legend still would have double strike. So it would still win out in that fight.
Oh yeah, absolutely would. Absolutely would.
Might not win the race, considering the small creature token bullshit Boros can do. Although, that's really just white. Green does small token bullshit as well.
You're trying to tell me that red doesn't do fucking token bullshit?
Yeah, but their token bullshit is only really goblins. And, like, nothing else, just goblins.
Goblins,
Occasionally
kobolds,
there's elementals,
elementals.
but it's mostly
It's
goblins.
mostly goblins, yes, 100%. But red definitely does, in general, tokens. Like, that is very much a red thing. It is not, like, red's thing. It's not unique to them, but, like, red, white, and green are the 3 I think when I think tokens.
Yeah.
Because red's the one that's got shenanigans like double the number of fucking tokens that you're making.
Yeah.
And yeah, fucking Cranko. You cannot not have red in the conversation when it comes to token making as long as Cranko is a motherfucking card.
Yeah, his old version at the very least.
Yeah, that is the only Cranko. I don't know what kind of jive malarkey they tried to sell with his name on it afterwards, but the mob boss. The mob boss is the one that matters. Oh shit, it is 3 in the morning here, which means that it is 1 in the morning there. I'm sure you probably want to be getting to bed soon.
Yeah, probably. Alright. Alright, save. Close.
Not to run you
Close.
off, of course, but...
Uh,
And that is going to go ahead and call it for me as well. Thank y'all so much for hanging out there in the audience. I see you walk the grid, and everybody else who decided not to talk for whatever reason. I will see y'all again here in about 17 hours for Dragon Memories live play on the Dragon Memories channel on the YouTubes at Dragon Memories TTV. We will catch y'all there. In the meanwhile, thank you so much. I've been Rick. You've been on the mountain. It has been a wonderful time. And never forget to keep kicking ass, because you are fucking